Do you ever feel like something is holding you back from living your best life? Have you ever wondered why some people seem to achieve their dreams and their goals easily and effortlessly, while others just get stuck and frustrated? The secret might lie in a hidden force that's shaping our reality every single day: limiting beliefs. Now, what are they? Where do they come from? How do they affect our lives? But most importantly, how do we change these sneaky little beliefs that is preventing us from living our best lives? That's what we want to understand. My name is Dorette, I'm from Think Holistic, and today that's exactly what I'm going to talk about: limiting beliefs. So if you're curious to learn more, then stay around and let's dive in. Now, I never really knew about the term limiting beliefs until I started studying the self-development niche. And even when I started studying and I learned about limiting beliefs and where they come from and how they affect people's lives, I never actually thought that I had any limiting beliefs. I learned how to recognize other people's limiting beliefs and how to help them to overcome it. As a coach, that's part of your coaching business, to help your clients to overcome their limiting beliefs. But I never actually thought about my own limiting beliefs. Can you believe it? But I've had this goal that I've been trying to achieve for 2 years now. And no matter how hard I work, no matter what I do, I can visualize all I want, I can affirm every morning, I can meditate on it, I've put my vision boards up everywhere. I have done everything that I can to achieve this goal, but somehow I am just not achieving this goal. So recently I thought to myself, Dorette, maybe you've got a limiting belief around this goal. So I decided to do some research on the subject, just to really understand what it is, so that I can start recognizing my own limiting beliefs as well. And it's with the research that I've done that I actually wanted to put this video together and share it with you today, so that you too can understand what limiting beliefs are and recognize your own, know where they come from if you can, get an idea of where this limiting belief was formed in your life, what happened, who said what, so that you can understand where it comes from, realize how it is affecting your life today, how it just affects every part of your life actually, because if you have a limiting belief that you're not worthy, then it really does affect all aspects of your life. And then, of course, we want to know how to change these limiting beliefs into more empowering beliefs. So I've done the research, and that's what I want to share with you today. So where does these limiting beliefs come from? Well, they come from childhood, first of all. And children are like little sponges. They take up everything. They take up what people say around them, what people do around them, what other people believe. And this is obviously parents, siblings, immediate family, their closest caregivers, the people who spend most time with them. So they will pick up on those people's beliefs, as well as, like I say, what they say, how they act, how they behave. So a good example is a child that gets told there isn't money for anything. So whenever a child, and I understand kids want everything when they go into the shops, they want this and they want that, and they cannot have everything. But if a child gets told every single time, we don't have money for it, we don't have money for it, we can't afford it, what happens is they start forming a limiting belief that there isn't enough money around. And they start creating a scarcity mindset, which will then later in life play out, especially in adulthood, where they will still focus more on scarcity than on abundance, and they will always live in a lack mentality. It's be careful what you say around kids, because they just take it all up. They can't analyze, and they can't rationalize what we say to them. They take it as the truth. Everything that they get told, they take it up as the truth. And it sits in their unconscious mind, and it creates, or it forms, a limiting belief. I want to use real life examples, and I think the best one to use here is Oprah Winfrey. So Oprah, I think everyone knows that Oprah grew up in poverty, in very difficult family situation. She lived with her grandmother, who was a servant, and her grandmother used to always say to her, just be able to cook well, clean well, and do the laundry beautiful, and you will have a good life. And her mother was or her grandmother was raising her to be a servant like her, because she had no expectations for Oprah. But luckily, Oprah came to a stage in her life as a young child already and decided that that's just not how she wanted to be. She wanted to be more. So she broke free from the limiting beliefs of her family and became one of the wealthiest women today. So it's a good example to see how someone can break free. But if she didn't, she would have ended up just like her grandmother, being another servant. So that's where it starts in childhood. So we've got to be careful what we tell our children. The second place is in school, the educational system. Kids can sit in a class and one teacher can tell a child that he's not good at math. And that child will, in that moment, believe it. And that belief will sit in his unconscious mind all through his life. And all through his school career, he will believe that he's not good at math. And because the teacher, his authority figure in that moment told him this, he believed it, and he will never even try or attempt to actually understand math, because that belief is now hindering him from even attempting to understand it. Because if you believe it to be true, why do you want to bother? Why do you want to try something if you believe it's not possible? And another good example to use here is the story of Thomas Edison. Thomas Edison was sent home after he was in school for a couple of days or a couple of months or whatever, and he was sent home with a note, and his mother read the note, and the note said that he was too dumb to learn anything and that she must homeschool him and she shouldn't send him back to school. Now, in that moment, and I actually saw this in a movie the other night, the movie is called Think and Grow Rich. If you haven't seen it yet, it's a very, very good movie to watch. But in that, there's a scene where they portray this real life event where he's giving his mother this note. She reads the note, he's sitting next to her, he's nervous, you can see he's expecting the worst, and on her facial expression, you can see it's not good news. But she then folds the note, put it down, turns to him and says, the note says that you are a genius and that you cannot go back to school because you are too good for school, and that I should homeschool you because you're so clever. And Thomas Edison believed this, that he was a genius. And all through his life, his mother obviously then educated him, and she cultivated a growth mindset that he can become more and that he can be a genius. And well, Thomas Edison invented the light bulb. Ka-ching! He's a genius, right? So that's a very good example of someone who broke free from the chains of limiting beliefs, thanks to his mother, who helped him in that moment, who empowered him rather than limited him with what the note was saying. So yeah, good example there. Another way, of course, is also culture and societal norms. You know, things like boys get told boys don't cry. And later in life, in adulthood, those men then struggle with showing emotions and being open and intimate in relationships, being vulnerable in relationships. That can cause a lot of rejection in their life. Girls, you know, when girls get told girls should always be polite and behave and not speak their minds, can become a limiting belief where they later on in life are too afraid to speak their truth or to stand in their power or to become what they want to become, and always be the inferior or the lesser. And it's because they were told as girls that girls shouldn't do that and girls can't be that, and they grow up believing that is how life is, which is a limiting belief, of course. Then, of course, there's the media. There's social media these days as well, where we look at all these stereotypes of people. You know, if you look at the fashion industry or the beauty industry, all these perfectly beautiful girls, and they've got the big followers, and they get all the deals. And there's a sense of, if you don't look like that, you will not be successful like that, or whatever it is. So even social media today is playing a big role in creating limiting beliefs for a lot of teenagers. Again, you know, teenagers are very much into their social media, and if they feel that they're not worthy, or you know, they don't get the same attention, or they don't have the same following as other kids, they feel less worthy, which affects, of course, their self-worth. Another place or another way where limiting beliefs are formed is in personal experience and in failures. You know, if you've experienced something that didn't work out for you somewhere in your life, or you feel you failed at something, you then believe that you can't do it, and that will stop you from trying it again. And often people fail, you know, like the most successful people will always tell you that they failed many times, and it was after how many times of trying again that they actually succeeded. But sometimes when we fail, we believe that we can't do something. It creates a limiting belief that we can't do it, and we just accept it for what it is, and we don't attempt again, and we say, I'm not going to do that again because I can't do it. And that's a limiting belief, and that will stop us from later on actually succeeding in what it is that we want to do. So don't let failures prevent you from trying again and again until you succeed. Because if you're going to try again and again and again, eventually you will succeed. But it is that limiting belief that stops us from trying again. J.K. Rowling is a good example here, where she wrote the Harry Potter books. She took it to I don't know how many publishers. Everyone told her no, they don't want to publish her books. No. She was told that teenage boys would never read her books because she was a woman and she needed to change her initials and all of that stories. But the thing is, she failed and failed and failed every time when she went to a publisher. They said no. She had doors slammed in her face every single time. But she persisted. She persisted, and she eventually found someone who said they'll publish the books. And I mean, today, Harry Potter, I don't need to say more. So that's a good example of someone who just persisted and not allowed such failures to create limiting beliefs and to let her give up and do something else. And then there's societal rejection and criticism, where we would go out and we would do something and society will criticize us or reject us, and we believe that we're not good enough to do it only because we were rejected. And an example I want to use here is Walt Disney. Walt Disney worked for a newspaper or something, and he was actually fired from his job, and they told him he lacked imagination. Walt Disney, he lacked imagination. I don't need to say more about Walt Disney. We all know Walt Disney's story now and the success that he's had in his life. But if Walt Disney, as a young man, believed when they fired him from that job that he lacked imagination, he would have given up on his dreams, and we would not have had the wonderful movies that we have today. So again, you know, don't allow society to break you down and form a limiting belief that you're not good enough or that you can't do something. Just get up again and just persevere and just keep living and just keep following your dream and just do what you need to do. Okay, so now we want to get into the good stuff. How do we get rid of these limiting beliefs? Now, the first thing you want to do is you want to become aware of them. You want to actually catch yourself in the moment when you have that sneaky little thought in the back of your mind that tells you you can't do something, or you are not worthy of it, you don't have enough skills, or you're not capable, or you're too old, or you're not pretty enough, or you're not clever enough, whatever it is. Whatever that voice is, and you will know, because if you become mindful of it, you will know every time when that voice speaks in the back of your mind. I keep saying in the back of your mind, because that's where it is. It's in the back of your mind. It's in your unconscious mind. And it's that thought, that sneaky little thought that is making you stop. So become aware of that thought. What is it? And we all have different ones. So what you want to do is you want to write it down. Take that thought, write it down. And you can look for these limiting beliefs in different aspects of your life. Look at your finances. So what are the stories you tell yourself about your finances? Why can't you have more money? Or why don't you have enough money? What is the reason for not being able to make more money? Think about your relationships, and if you have any limiting beliefs about any of your relationships with your partner or your spouse or your family, with friends, with colleagues, your boss, whatever. Think about the limiting beliefs that you have around your relationships. And then think about the limiting beliefs you have about yourself personally. Are you thinking that you're not clever enough to do something? Are you thinking that you're not young enough or old enough or whatever it is? So sit down and write down all of those thoughts that is negative, that is stopping you, that is preventing you from doing something. Write them down. And then the second thing you want to do is you want to challenge them now. You want to reframe them. So whatever you've written down, you will have it in the negative. So it will be something like, I'm not worthy of that position that I want to apply for, or I'm not clever enough, or I'm not smart enough. So now that you've written that down, next to it, write the opposite. I am worthy. Or if that feels too much of a jump, you can say that every day I become more and more capable of doing that specific job or that position that I want or whatever it is. So write the positive down. Let me use just a simple example. Say now you are not a good cook and you would like to, or you think you're not a good cook. You would like to cook a meal for your family, but there's this voice that says you're not a good cook. You can't cook. You can't cook. You're not a good cook. You're going to screw up the meal. They're not going to like it, whatever it is. Write that down. I'm not a good cook. Then on the opposite, you can write down that every day I'm becoming a better cook. So you're not saying I'm a master chef, but every day I'm becoming a better cook. With practice, I'm learning a new skill, whatever it is. So write down what will help you to break that limiting belief. Because reframing it like that just breaks your mindset from a negative mindset to a more positive mindset. And it breaks you from a limiting perspective to a more positive perspective. It's just a shift in perspective. It's just a different view from another angle. The third thing you want to do is you want to visualize your success. You have now become aware of what it is that is holding you back, the limiting belief. You know what it is. You've now written it down. You've reframed it in a more positive affirmation. You now want to visualize the success. So with the example of becoming a better cook, visualize yourself now cooking a meal, maybe just for yourself, a nice meal for yourself that you can sit down and you can enjoy and you can go, wow, that was a really nice meal that I've cooked for myself. Tomorrow you visualize yourself cooking a meal for yourself and someone else. So see yourself in the kitchen, see yourself preparing the meal, putting everything in, spicing it up, whatever it is that you want to make. See yourself in your mind's eye doing this and visualizing the success of cooking a good meal. The next day you want to see yourself cooking maybe a little bit of a bigger meal, and then visualize yourself setting the table, inviting your friends over, everyone sitting down, enjoying a good cooked meal. And the next day you visualize it again, and then you see people saying, wow, that was a really nice meal. Thank you, we really enjoyed it. People complimenting you, even you who's eating your meal, tasting it, affirming that it is a nice meal. Because what you're doing now is you are now training your mind to become more positive, to break the habit of thinking you're not a good cook, to a new possibility of, hey, maybe I can become a good cook. If I do it, if I keep visualizing it, if I keep practicing it in my mind's eye, I can become it. So you are now training your mind for something more positive. Because visualization bridges the gap between where you were and where you want to be. The fourth step you want to do is you want to take action. You've now visualized yourself cooking this meal. So now go out and do it. Get a recipe and cook just for yourself. Make it plain. Take the stress off. Don't invite the whole neighborhood yet. Take the stress off and just cook for yourself. Cook a nice meal for yourself. Easy. Make it easy. Because you don't want to fail that first time and then feel like you can't do it. So make it easy for yourself and just cook a very plain and simple meal for yourself. Sit down, enjoy it, and say to yourself, wow, that's a really good meal that I've just cooked for myself. And then the next time, cook something for someone else. Invite a friend over. And again, don't invite that girl that you've got that huge crush on yet. Not yet. No, just invite one of your buddies over. Cook a nice meal for your buddy and make it easy, make it simple, make it, we're taking little steps. That's what we're doing. We're taking little steps now to success. And then the next time you invite maybe more people over, you cook a little bit bigger meal, whatever. And then eventually you're building yourself up, you're building your confidence up, you're breaking the habit of thinking you're not a good cook, and you start creating a new possibility in your subconscious mind that you can actually do it. And you want to take it slow. You don't want to just, that's what I'm saying, don't overwhelm yourself the very first time and thinking this is how you're going to do it. It might not be a good idea. But build yourself up, cook more meals, invite more people, and then eventually you will cook that beautiful meal for your entire family, and they will stand up and they will thank you for it. Because remember, change doesn't happen overnight. It takes consistent effort to build yourself up and to feel it as well, to feel confident in what you do. So allow yourself the time to build up to it. And then the final step you want to take is repetition. Keep on doing it. Keep on doing it. Even in that first meal, the second meal wasn't that great. Keep on doing it, but keep on visualizing yourself succeeding and doing it, cooking a nice meal or whatever it is. Repetition, 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 because for so long you have believed something so negative, and now you need to start shifting into something positive, and you break that habit with repetition. So keep doing it. Consistently make the effort to do it, and that is how you will overcome that limiting belief and eventually transform it into a negative belief. So in conclusion, limiting beliefs are beliefs that they sit in the back of our minds, in our unconscious mind. We're not aware of them, but they do affect our lives every time when we hear that little voice in the back of our mind saying, you can't do it, you're not worthy, you're not clever enough, you're not whatever it is, you're too old, or you're too sick, or you are too poor, or whatever it is. It's a limiting belief. That's all it is. And that belief can be transformed. Those beliefs come from childhood, they come from school, they come from all the biggest nonsense people have told us in our lives, but even the mistakes we've made, the bad experiences we've been through, and the so-called failures that we've experienced in life. But don't allow those things to sabotage your life for you. Take those limiting beliefs, transform them, do it with time, with repetition, the way that I've explained to you, and you will see with time, you will start transforming a limiting belief, and you will actually start believing that you are capable of doing it, and you will then begin to see the results as well. Because the moment when we start believing that we can do something, we start seeing the results. We will not see results if we don't believe it's true. That's what I'm saying. When I was working on my goal and I just didn't see the results, I was doing everything I could imagine to see results, but I just didn't see the results. And that's when I realized it's a limiting belief. It's not the effort I put into it. It's not the amount of work and and everything else that I put into it, it's actually a limiting belief that is holding me back. And now I'm working on my own limiting belief, and it's a process. I'm telling you, it's not overnight, because your mindset doesn't get shifted overnight. Sometimes something can shift you very quickly, but usually it takes time. It takes time, it takes repetition, it takes consistent effort, but you can do it. You can change that limiting belief into an empowering belief, a belief that works for you rather than against you, a belief that will put you into flow and get you moving, helping you to achieve your goals, reach your dreams, and live that life that you want to live and desire. So I hope this video helped you. Please let me know in the comments if you have any limiting beliefs that you are aware of. Let me know how it goes. Work on this. Come back to let me know. I love to get feedback from you so that I know that these tips that I give you and share with you can actually help you. So let me know. And then the other thing I want to say is that if you feel you really get stuck and you're struggling with these limiting beliefs and they're really just so deeply ingrained in your subconscious mind that maybe you just can't figure them out, you don't know where they are or what it is, but you can feel there's something blocking you from living your best life, reach out, book a call with me. Let me see if I can help you. Let's see if we can, just by talking to you, by asking you a few questions, let me see if we can uncover that limited belief that you've got that is holding you back, and let's see how we can change it into an empowering belief, a belief that will help you move forward in life and achieve what you do want to achieve in your life. So reach out to me if that is something that you would want to work on. I am here, and I'm here to help you to discover those limiting beliefs, to work through them, to overcome them, to kick them in the butt, get them out of your life, and start believing in yourself again. That's what I do. And with that, bye for now.